Morning. Church of Corinth was an up-and-coming church back in biblical times. It was a little town called Corinth in country of Greece. They were, as of any church, they had their problems, as other churches. But they had some guidance. They had guidance from Paul, from God. 1st, 2nd Corinthians. They talked to them and told them what their issues were and how to fix them. One particular thing that we want to learn today or talk about is obviously the Lord's Supper. They had issues with the Lord's Supper. Here's some of the issues that they had, coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 11. So this is me paraphrasing, obviously. Their meetings, whenever they came together, they did more harm than they did good. That's scary. Divisions amongst churches, amongst the church. One person didn't like the other. They didn't want to share in the Lord's Supper with each other. They had their own private suppers when the church comes together. So they split off. They didn't do it as a congregation. They used the Lord's Supper as a feast instead of actually a small remembrance of Jesus' death and His sacrifice. So those are things that they had issues with. Paul told them, you guys need to get together. So we don't want to get there. I don't want to be there. You guys don't want to be there. We want to be a group. We want to be a family. We're called in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 to examine ourselves. So I'm going to read that for you real quick, if I can operate 21st century. Everyone ought to examine themselves before they eat of the bread and drink from the cup. For those who eat and drink without discerning the body of Christ, eat and drink judgment upon themselves. So we're called to take the Lord's Supper in a very specific manner. We are to examine ourselves. We are to remember the sacrifice, the blood that was shed, the flesh that was broken. And if we do this in an unworthy manner, we bring judgment upon ourselves. So take a moment, here just a moment. A moment is around 90 seconds. Take a moment and examine yourself, where you are at, where would you be without Jesus dying on the cross. So I'm just going to give you guys a moment to think about this and examine yourself.